Hello.
So I'm not saying, you're going to reach this magic state where all of a sudden you've enlightened and you just know everything about everything there is to know about that one subject.
Just an interesting observation, because someone from an outsider's point of view, me included, and I'm your mum, would look at the person who's got all these followers and does all this stuff online and think, oh my God, you know your stuff. And you do, Sonny, I know you do. But yet you're still saying, I'm not qualified enough to teach the 17 or take the 17-year-old through these. You've got 750,000 followers. How much qualified do you need to be?
Hello. I could eat about 1.5 million of these.
Well, nobody's perfect.
Welcome to the It's a Drama podcast.
Daddy, I love him.
My mother thanks you.
If you can't say something nice.
Right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello and welcome to the It's a Drama podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Sonny.
And today we've got a different podcast for you because, as you can see, I'm here with my favourite
Child.
baby, Sonny.
Hello, how are we?
It's been 2 years since I've had you on this podcast, Bun, since I've got you behind that microphone sitting opposite me.
Yeah.
And I just thought today to celebrate, well, it's nothing to celebrate really. I was gonna lie and say the 100th episode. Just wanted to catch up with you.
Yeah, okay. Here I am.
As long-time listeners of this podcast might know, Sonny was the original founder of this drama podcast.
Had the idea in an airport.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah, so we should start a podcast as everyone is doing now anyway. Just kind of become a little bit of a joke on the internet. Or let's just start a podcast. But no, back then it was like, it wasn't as common. So yeah, it was like, let's, I feel like we had good conversation because, we spent so much time together. So we didn't really have anyone else to talk to. And it was kind of just like, oh yeah, that would be a really good idea. We have good conversations and stuff like that. So we started it, and then I just got busy because I was only 18, and, when you turn 18, it's almost like, so much starts to happen. So I all of a sudden didn't have time to do it, but, that's where Dad stepped in and took over. Yeah.
Is it a bit of a joke then now to do a podcast? Is that what it is?
No, it's not. It's not a joke. It's just kind of like, I suppose it is. It's like, every man and his dog has a podcast. So it's like, it seems like a new one's popping up every single day. Whether or not they turn out successful is a different thing. But like, yeah, it's I suppose it's a little bit of a joke. Yeah. Let's go and start a podcast. But yeah, no, it's not to say that starting a podcast is bad or something that people shouldn't do. It's just that it's a bit of a joke now.
Yeah. So like everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
The last time we spoke, me and you, can you believe this? It was 2 years ago.
Crazy.
Yeah. And that podcast was just I think it was Sonny at 20. That's what I called it. That's a catchy title, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like Adele, all the albums. 18, 19, 20, 21.
So now you're 22. And like I say, the last time we spoke, you were talking about all the things that you were doing online. You were talking about, I think you were working in the music shop.
Oh, yeah.
You had doing photography for Christoph. You were doing all online stuff. And yeah, I just wanted to catch up with you and just find out what's going on.
Yeah.
What's going on with you, Bum?
Obviously, we're still doing the online stuff. And I'm trying to think back when that was. So 2 years ago was 2021. So yeah, I'd been doing the online stuff. I think it was around about like 500,000 followers on TikTok at the time. And then since then, I think I got another like 250,000 followers from that point, which was good. So in regards to, and then I started streaming as well. So I started streaming on Twitch and TikTok, which is something I wasn't doing at that point. So that was like a new avenue that I journeyed down, and it went really, really well when we went to Greece. As you know, it was insane. It was like sometimes there was like 4,000 people watching on the TikTok streams in Greece. So the online stuff has like, kept the momentum going. Is what I'm trying to say. But in comparison to the other two, I stopped those. So obviously the music teaching, I was going to say the music shop evolved into music teaching. So I stopped the retail job, and I bought a business from my old music teacher, actually. Wasn't just some random guy that came up and was like, I want to buy a business. It was like, I knew him and stuff like that. So I purchased his client list off him and all his material, and then started going around schools in Taranaki teaching music. So I'm still in the music scene as such. But yeah, no, left the music shop because that just wasn't going anywhere for me, really, was it? It was just like, I was only getting like 7 or 8 hours a week. So it was kind of just a side job. And then photography, I found, this is going to sound really obnoxious, but I found just me as a person prefers to be in front of the camera rather than behind it. I just found it really hard to create content for someone else instead of for myself.
Why do you think that sounds obnoxious?
Just because I suppose, you've always got that thing in the back of your mind, like, I don't want to come across as I'm the star, look at me, like I'm the one on the camera, rather than being like, oh, well, you should just be able to get behind the camera as well, and you should just shut up and film, it's not all about you, Sonny, which is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, I feel like with my creative, I hate people that say this, but I'm going to say it, with my creative energy, I feel like it's best put into creating content for myself rather than for someone else. I still like it. Like, I'm sure we'll talk about it soon, but the show I'm in at the moment, Little Shop of Horrors, I created the background video for that in a couple of scenes, and I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed like taking the video, being there on the day, filming, and editing it together and stuff like that, and then giving it to them. I enjoyed that. I thought that was really fun. But yeah, just as a job, I'd much rather be working on my own stuff than for someone else. Yeah.
I'm just going to rewind a little bit for the people that don't know you, that are not familiar with you, but who know me and your dad, me and Brian, and who have read my book. Because at the end of my book, it says, Sonny went on to pursue a career, or he wanted to do something with TikTok. That's one of the lines at the end of my book. I know you haven't read it. Don't worry about it, Sonny. But
I will.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, of course. Yeah, you're saving it. But for a long flight or something.
Yeah.
But at the end of my book, it says, Sonny, what will you do, Sonny? And it says, I've got this really cool platform and I'm going to explore it. It's called TikTok.
Yeah.
So just explain to people, because I know you're talking about how many followers you've got and what you do online. But for someone who knows nothing about you, how would you sum up what you do online and how you make money doing what you do online?
Oh, gosh. Okay. I mean, so ever since I was 12 or 13, I've always wanted to create videos online, and it was always around this little game at the time that was just starting to become popular. It was called Minecraft. Obviously now it's very, very popular, and the biggest game in the world, most copies ever sold. And yeah, I wanted to create YouTube videos on there, on that platform for such a long time, and I did. I tried for years, but I never got any traction. Mainly because it wasn't very good. I was only a kid, and I thought this was great, this, and then I watch it back now and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was terrible, never going to succeed, obviously. And then TikTok kind of came out and I started doing little short videos. So rather than doing 8-minute, 9-minute, 10-minute long YouTube Minecraft videos, I started doing little short videos. And at first it was simply, if you follow me, I will place a flower in this Minecraft garden with your name on it. Or I'll place a sign down with your name on it. I'll spawn a cow that has your name on it. And I did that for about the first 1,000 or 2,000 followers. And as you can imagine, that was a lot of flower placing. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, something else I'd been trying to do since I was about 15 or 16 was open my own Minecraft server. And I'd always been fascinated with opening a Minecraft server, just because the YouTubers I were watching at the time had their own Minecraft servers and it just looked so much fun. So I said, okay, I'll open my own Minecraft server now that I've got 2,000 followers. Maybe someone will play on it. And then people started to join, and there was maybe 1 or 2, 3 people on the server. And then I decided to start making content around these people on my server. So it was trolling. For those that don't know what trolling is, it's kind of like a prank. So you prank them. So maybe, I don't know, you'd destroy something that they placed, obviously, and then you place it back afterwards. But it's just the goal is to confuse them, to make them think that something's wrong with their game. And it's just a bit of fun, and people like to watch it. And then the people that get trolled get like stuff afterwards, like free things in the game, and they love it because they know they're going to be in a video. And the first video, like my videos were getting about, 1,000, 2,000 views, which isn't bad, before that. And then as soon as I started posting these trolling videos, it was just like 900,000 views, wow. 700,000 views, 800,000 views. I hit 10,000 followers, then 20,000 followers, then 100,000 followers, and then 200, and so on and so on and so on. I was like, okay, this is growing. And the Minecraft server was growing exponentially as well. It was like 100 people online, 200 people online. And it was like $800 a day, $900 a day of people donating to keep the server online.
Right.
So that's in regards how you make money. So TikTok's terrible for monetary gain in New Zealand anyway. There is no ad revenue. There's nothing. There's no way to make money online. Well, there wasn't at that time, I should say. There is now. There's TikTok Live GIFs and stuff like that. People do stuff like that. But at the time, there was none of that. Or at least I don't think there was. Maybe there was. I'm not sure. But for me, there wasn't. So the way that I was making money was through this Minecraft server. So yeah, that's how I started. And then I made a deal with a company in Ireland to buy me out of the server, half of the server, and that was just that was a bit of a disaster. The whole thing fell to pieces. Our relationship just went sour, and because we didn't sign a contract, they just kind of ran away with everything.
But money or followers?
Yes, all the money. Not my followers. No, obviously that was me. But they ran away with all the money that we generated.
How much money?
In about 3 or 4 months, I think we generated $30,000 US. Yeah, so that was a lot, $30,000 US that they just took and left me with nothing. I got $700 in New Zealand dollars, so about 500
So
US
why
dollars.
couldn't you go after them? Why couldn't you take them to court?
Well, I mean, what are you going to take them to court over? Oh, you took my money over a Minecraft game, Minecraft
There was
server.
no contract or anything.
There was no contract, so
Right.
you can't take it to court and be like, oh, these guys took my money in a block game. They're just gonna laugh you out of the courtroom. But so I should have signed a contract or had more control. But I was only like 19, 20, so I wasn't exactly thinking that this was going to go wrong, and I was just a bit too trusting. But this is how you learn in life, is by making these mistakes. Because if you don't, then it's going to happen somewhere down the track. So best it happened now when it was 30,000 instead of a couple million or something like that. But yeah, so. After that, I opened my own server again, Cheeky MC, and that's where I am today. And it's going quite well. Yeah.
How many followers have you got now?
750,000 or something like that.
That just feels...
Yeah, but it has been at that for a while because I haven't been uploading for a little bit, But it's...
Just want to circle back to something that you're playing Minecraft. You've built a server for them. I've seen you work on that server. You've built an amazing, friendly community.
Yeah.
All your people that help you are very friendly. And you are now up to a lot of followers. So for someone who is doing so well and has got to someone like anyone else who's struggling to get, 1,000 followers on TikTok or whatever, and they're sitting opposite someone who's got 750,000 followers and makes all these videos and is able to monetize it. I know you're struggling with the money at the moment because of various things, but you've got goals for that. How can you sit there and say that you're worried about becoming, coming across as obnoxious? And is there an imposter syndrome thing going on there? Just tell me how. I know you're not going to go, oh yes, I'm amazing, but I don't know. It just seems a little bit like just talk to me about that a little bit. Just.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not. Maybe it is imposter syndrome. It could be. But I suppose the way I see it is, yes, I know what I've done is good. But for me, I think it's very, very easy to get somewhere like that and then kind of just sit there and be like, okay, I've made it now. This is it. So this is just for me. This is, you don't have to take this advice or anything for anyone out there. But for me, I find if I get too comfortable, then, then it's all going to be over. So by not accepting that, for me, this is just how my brain works, if I don't accept the praise, if well done, you've got to hear, then it gives me something to strive for, So if I'm like, okay, people are like, oh, you've got 750,000 followers, that's amazing. I'm like, yeah, it is, but it's not 1 million, So then when I get to 1 million, be like, oh, that's great, but it's not 2 million though, And I think I can keep that mindset going. If I can keep it going, then you can reach extraordinary levels that other people are not going to reach because I think for me anyway, I'm not going to settle for just okay. It has to be it has to be extraordinary. So it can't just be okay. But yeah, going back to it, it's not imposter syndrome. I don't think it is because I don't feel like an imposter. It's So and the thing about not sounding obnoxious is I don't think there's anything deeper than it's simply I just don't want to sound obnoxious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just ask you though, because from someone who has and I want to talk about this more in depth later, from someone who's just published a book and cried to you a couple of months ago when I published it, and I came into the kitchen and you're like, how's your book doing? And I was like, it's only sold 200 copies. And I was crying. I was like, I just thought it was going to just do so many more than this. And you're the one that turned around to me and said, that's 200 people. It's like the opposite of what you've just told yourself, about, how does that work? You're telling me one thing, you're going, but 200 people is amazing, Mum. You've reached 200 people. So why don't you turn that around on yourself and go, do you know what I mean? Look at what I've done. I'm doing brilliant. I'm going to do better, but I'm doing brilliant.
I mean, I suppose it's like, you give... Sometimes you just have to tell people what they want to hear, It's not that I didn't mean that, because that is great. 200 people is great. And I'm not saying that 700,000 followers is not great or 200 people buying your book is not great. Even if one person buys your book, it's great. I'm just talking about mindset. Like for me, seeing you upset, it was like, okay, I'm not going to go now come up to her and say, 200 people don't get too comfortable. You need to sell more.
Bit rubbish.
I'm not going to say that, even though it's not. It's just I know that in myself, I can tell myself that's not good enough, Sonny. You need to do better, and I'm not going to get upset because that's just the person that I am, But seeing you, if I suppose spin it round, if you'd walked in and you'd strolled in, and gone, 200 people, that's me done, don't have to worry about that anymore. I'd be like, hang on. No, push it more, come on, you can get more than 200. But it was the fact that you were, upset and crying. It's just like, well, I'm not going to, I'm not going to tell her this other thing, So it works both ways. And it really comes down to who you are or what you're up, what's happening in your life at the moment. Because I don't think there's you got to be adaptable is what I'm saying, It's just, you got to be kind as well. But I feel like I can take it from myself, if I'm telling myself that's not good enough, you need to move forward, I can take that. But at that point you couldn't take that, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to say that to you. So, no.
You're very kind. You're very, very kind.
Well, you try to be, yeah.
Yes.
It's not exactly hard, is it, to be kind?
I don't know. Some people, I can see. I'm playing devil's advocate here because I wouldn't be able to stand it if you were the sort of person that came in and went, yes, everyone, look at me. I'm just there. You go, like you say, I've made it. Get down and kiss my feet because I've got all this. You have got a gorgeous balance of.
I think it's very dangerous to be like that because then you can become complacent. It's just like. It's not good. You see these people that do that and, film stars and stuff like that. And, I've made it all and I'm going to party and everything like that. And then a couple of years later, it's like they've got no job, they're unemployed and stuff. And it's just like they're in the gutter, addicted to drugs and stuff like that. It's just like, you just got to keep moving forward always, never get too comfortable. Yeah, okay, celebrate the wins, be like, I remember when I hit 100,000 followers, it was like someone made me a cake and you made me this like, cool little thing on a wine bottle that was like drawn on, congratulations. And it was like, okay, that was great. But I didn't wake up the next day and go, 100,000 followers, let's celebrate again. It was just like, right, move on, move forward, I suppose is what I'm just trying to say.
When you make a video, when you go into you go into your room and you make these videos and you are just completely and utterly just giving it everything you've got. I've never heard so much energy and it's every day you make these videos that all this energy comes off you and that you're playing this game and, you're when you come off a video that you've made, what do you want? Why are you doing that? What is it you want from when you do those videos? What do you go into that video hoping for?
It's entertainment value. Is definitely something that you go in for. 100% is like, this has to be entertaining. I'm not going to go make content that's not entertaining because that's just pointless, That's like, I don't know, making a dish of food that's completely bland, it's just like, no one's going to want that. They're going to want the one with a bit of flavor, so that's 100% what I could strive for every single time, is entertainment, but also, then you start thinking of it from a content creation point of view as like retention and stuff like that, and viewer engagement and things like that. So, hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, leaving a comment. So you try and find little crafty ways to like weave that into this little short video because it's only a minute long, So you've got to tell a story, you've got to entertain, but you've also got to get people to engage and then come back and then take action, which is join the Minecraft server. So you've got to do all of that in 1 minute. So that's what I'm going into it thinking. But yeah, mainly entertainment,
Can I just ask you, when you do these videos, I want to get into more personal stuff in a minute, but I just want to know if that's okay with you.
Yeah, okay.
But I just want to just make sure that I'm clear about, because you're my absolute inspiration for the fact that you just constantly are putting it out there. So much energy, so much good stuff. But I have also seen you sit at the table with me and your dad and just almost like just so down because you've done a video and it's got, I don't know, 12 views or whatever, and you've done this for a week. It's been every video that you've put out has done really, really, not what you wanted. Performed poorly, yeah. I don't want to say like did badly because but you put all that effort into it. I know, darling, but it's just like, Anyway, so how do you, from a point of a young guy like yourself, how do you, like, you're just here on your own in your bedroom. You haven't got a gang of people around you going, come on, let's get this done. Like, let's make this content. How do you keep going when you just keep getting knocks like that? Like with a guy running off with your money in Ireland and, videos that don't perform well, the algorithm all changing and everything goes to crap. How do you keep going? Like, what is it that keeps you motivated to keep going?
I mean, firstly, there's no such thing as motivation. I don't believe anyway. I just believe there is, there's work and it needs to be done. So you have to do it. And I think it's really as simple as that. It's like, there's no secret formula. It's just, you just, firstly, you can't be soft. And secondly, you can't be lazy. This is a very competitive business. And if you want to stay on top, you can't take it personally. If your video doesn't perform well, you can't sit there and cry about it for a week and then be like, oh, maybe I'll upload it again in a month. It's just like, no, you just upload again tomorrow and again and again and again and again and again and again. And it's like pushing a stone uphill or a rock uphill, whatever it is, that analogy. You just can't be soft. You can't take it personally. And
what do you mean you can't be soft? What does that mean?
Like if your video doesn't perform well, you can't sit there and cry about it. You have to harden up and you have to just take it on the chin. Realize that it's not personal. It just wasn't a good video, because it's very easy to take it personal. It's very easy to see people not watch the video and go, oh, they just don't like me. I'm just not entertaining. It's like, well, no, I just don't think the video was very good. So how can I make it better? And then how can I make that one better and that one better and that one better and that one better and so on and so on. And this is the thing, it's like you said, you sit there at the table and you feel down. Yeah, okay, yeah, you do feel down, but post the video, feel down for an hour or two, and then do it again tomorrow. That's the important thing. I'm not saying that you can't feel these emotions. That's not what I'm saying at all. I think in life it's very important to feel emotions, but it's how you process them and that's how you deal with them. And how quickly you let them go. And realize that they are, in fact, just that. They're just an emotion, and it's not the end of the world that your video didn't perform well. It's like, okay, let it go, relax, do it again tomorrow, So yeah, that's I suppose how I say quote unquote motivated. But again, I don't really believe in this whole motivation thing. How do I find motivation? It's like, it's really simple. Just stop being lazy and just do it. And I hate to say that because I know so many people are going to be like, well, you can't say that, but I think it's very, very true. We live
say what you want on my podcast.
Yeah, we live in a generation of very, very lazy people that want to take pictures of their lunch and get paid for it, and this is the thing. It's just like, I got it this morning and was like, I don't want to go to the gym, and, you could have just stayed in bed and it's been like, I've got no motivation. It's like, no, I don't have any motivation to go, but I'm still going to go because it needs to be done. It's work that needs to be done. And this is what people fail to understand, it's just like, and then they get trapped in this loop of procrastination and guilt. It's like, oh, okay, so I didn't do this today. I'm going to feel really guilty. And I'm so sad from this guilt that I didn't do this work that I'm unmotivated to now do it tomorrow. And it will just keep going over and over again. So you have to just break the cycle and go, no more. I'm just going to do it regardless of how I feel. And that's the thing. It's like the audience don't care if you're feeling a bit sad that day. It's like you just get up and you just do it, Oh, what, you're feeling anxious, you're feeling depressed. They don't care. You just have to do it regardless, So yeah, that's a very long-winded answer of what I do to quote unquote stay motivated.
You've had a bit of a knockback with your, not a knockback. That's not the right word to say. I don't know what the word is. That sounds stupid when I say knockback. But you've basically split up with your long-term girlfriend,
of 2 years. Yeah.
Of 2 years, yeah. And we can talk about that if you like, just about the whole, how do you, because it's all very, again, it's a, to see someone who is so doing stuff online and so invested to stuff online, it's like, how do you balance that with real life and with a relationship? But before we say that, I was just going to ask you something and I can't remember. Oh yeah, so that's what I was going to say was, or maybe I'll ask you that afterwards, because I was going to say, do you think that you should bring not your problems to the microphone or whatever, but do you think there is a place for being like, you know, when you did split up with your girlfriend, did you tell anyone online or did you just carry on? No,
I didn't tell them. I just carried on because it's like they don't care. You know, they're watching me to feel good. And it's just like, you know, I really don't. And also it's none of their business really, you know. It's like, this is the thing is I'm a character when I'm on stream. It's like, I'm not Sonny Deacle. I'm Sonny Deacle. You know, there's a difference. And I feel like there is, I'm admittedly maybe branding myself as my actual name might be, you know, a bit of a rough choice. But yeah, so there's Sonny Deacle and then there's just Sonny Deacle, you know, and that Sonny Deacle, he's not going to tell you that he broke up with his girlfriend because everything's great in his life, you know. It's just like, it's all fun because I'm here to entertain you. I'm larger than life, you know, and stuff like that. So yeah, it's separate. And also, out of respect for her, I didn't want to go and blab that all over the internet, you know, because I certainly wouldn't like that all over. You know, I was worried that she was going to tell my friends before me. So I can't imagine, you know, someone, you know, spilling the details of your, you know, your intimate personal relationship all over the internet. So no, just out of respect for her, and also just there was no need to tell. There was no point. Like, I couldn't see a benefit of telling them that. It's like, you don't need to know. Is it gonna, like, you know, is it gonna make this stream any better? No. Is it gonna make it any worse? Probably not. So what's the point? You know, it's not adding anything. Yeah.
Is it hard to have an online business where you are giving yourself to the internet with such vigor and such energy and such, I mean, literally, when you used to do those streams, I don't know if you're still doing your streams or not, but
currently not,
right,
as the last couple of weeks, just because of this show that we're in.
Okay, so is it hard to balance that and then come back to a normal life where you're just going out with your girlfriend for a drive or going to have a portion of fish and chips? How do you balance that, especially with someone who isn't in the online space and doesn't, you know, how does that work?
I mean, yeah. I mean, we're all in the online space now. And that's the thing. Yeah, we are, because we're all on our phones. It's actually, I think the challenge is like completely, like unplugging is very, very hard because, and that's what I've been doing in the last couple of weeks, is deleting all social media and stuff like that, obviously, except TikTok, which is what I use for business and stuff. So I can't delete that. But yeah, not having it on my phone it's just on my computer now. So not having it on my phone is pretty much the same as not having it at all.
It is, yeah. It really helps when
you don't carry your laptop around with you, you know.
I found that too.
But yeah, so I think the real challenge is actually just unplugging, because it's quite amusing because, like you say, do you find it hard to reconnect with the real world? It's like you do this big stream and then you go and see your friends and they're all on their phone, you know. So it's almost just like there's no transition. The hard thing is not being online, you know, because everyone else is. But no, I didn't really find it hard to separate the two at all. Really, it was just like the camera turned off and it was just like, okay, back to normality now. It's no different than when you're working in customer service, you know. It's just like you're really nice to the customer's face, and as soon as they walk out, it's just like your smile drops, and it's just like, you know, you just carry on with what you were doing. It's just like, it's not hard to transition. Or being on stage, you know, you're a big in character, and then as soon as you walk off into the wings, it's just like, bang, you're back to yourself. So no, not really hard.
I love talking to you, Sonny. I've missed doing a podcast with you. I really love talking to you. Do you want some more tea?
Yeah, please, thank you.
Do you want to talk about the relationship, or should we just move on to the next thing? I don't mind if you don't want to talk about it.
I mean, there's not really much to say. You know, it wasn't a bad breakup. I'm not going to tell all the, you know, the details and stuff like that of why it was, but all I'll say is it was a clean break. It was a mutual decision because it was long distance for half of the relationship. And, you know, long distance is very trying on a relationship. And when you both are doing things that are so demanding of energy, it is very hard to find energy for someone who you don't see for months and months and months, and maybe send a couple of texts a day, you know, and then when you see them in person, it's like so much has happened in your lives, especially at the age we're at. Things move so fast, you know, is hard to relate to them anymore, you know, and you start to think, oh, well, what's the point of even doing this, you know? It's just like, so yeah, it was just a mutual breakup, and yeah.
She went away to uni, didn't she? And that's why
Yep.
it was long distance.
Yep. But yeah, there's really not much else to say, honestly. It was just, it's not some big drama, you know, like she didn't turn up and slap me in the face and go, oh, you done this, or it was literally just like, you know, partners, friends. But obviously, you know, I made it very clear that I didn't want to keep communication, just because I think that's a terrible idea. Like, I just don't understand these people that break up and then keep communication, because it's just like, it's just silly, you know, because you break up with someone to move forward and move on. And allow them to also move on as well. So it's very, very silly to keep communication open, because you think, you know, we can do it and stuff like that. But it's like, no, you can't. You know, if you're meant to be together or whatever, you'll come back to each other eventually. But it's just, for me anyway, I mean, you might think differently, someone listening. But yeah, for me anyway, keeping communication open is just rather foolish. It's just, yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Why did you take all your social media off your phone?
Well, I mean, the same kind of thing as well. It's just like, it's this temptation to look at what she's up to, you know, and back in the day, you couldn't do that, you know. If she moved away, and, you know, I'm talking back in the day, like 30 years ago, I couldn't check on what she was up to, you know. I couldn't see who she's hanging out with, and I'd rather just not, because she's not part of my life anymore. So it's just like, it's better just to focus on yourself than be checking, you know, constantly, like, on what she up to and stuff like that. And you think like, oh, you know, don't do it. But it's like, come on, you're going to, you know, because you loved this person, you know, so it's only natural that, you know, you're going to check up on them. And it's the Pandoras Box thing, you know. Eventually everyone's going to check the box. Everyone's going to see what's inside. And they're not going to like what they see, you know, because, yeah, I think it's just human nature. I'd be very, very impressed if I could meet someone that kept communication, everything, and just never checked. Just never once checked. Because I think, you know, if you cared, you're going to check, because you're going to want to make sure they're okay and everything like that. But you almost just have to have faith that, yes, they'll be okay. Of course they'll be okay. They were okay before you, and they'll be okay after you, you know? So, and also, I just thought it was a perfect opportunity, because for a while I'd been thinking, I just want to put it all down. I want to put all the social media down. I want to give it all up. I just hate it. It's just taking up too much time. It's not real life. It's a major, major cause of this anxiety epidemic that's going on within the young people, because everyone, you know, it's just ridiculous. Yeah.
Is that just because of comparison, do you reckon?
Yeah, comparison 100%, you know, and people thinking that their lives aren't as good as, you know, other people's. But even though everyone's life online is fabricated, you know, it's just ridiculous. But yeah, so it was like a perfect opportunity, because I was only really using social media to talk to her. So I was already pretty much off it, you know, so yeah, it was just like, well, this is the time to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And it's been great. It has been absolutely great, you know. I find myself being more present around people. The only downside is you see people on their phones, and because you can't check your phone, it's like, well, I have nothing to do. And then you have to have that awkward thing of being like, hey, live in the moment, you know. And that's kind of a joke between me and one of my friends. We always say, you know, we'll see another one of our friends on their phone. It'll be like, oi, live in the moment, put it down, you know. And there's that saying, disconnect to reconnect. And I think it's very true, you know.
Oh, is that what they say now?
Disconnect to reconnect. Just put it down, you know. You just, just put it down.
Oh, I'm really, this really excites me, because I'm really hopeful that your generation of people have like been through, because there was no one worse than you for your phone. I mean, oh my God, my book is full of it. Like, you know, Sonny's just on his phone. You know, maybe it's like you've been through it, you've seen what it does, and now you're coming out the other side, because you're not the first person that I've heard have said this, like, you know, like enough is enough. Yeah. That just makes me really hopeful, because I don't know. I always think, if only you knew what life was like before that. Don't get me wrong. You know, I'm not one of these people like, oh no, technology, because I wouldn't be earning money if it wasn't for the internet. But you're absolutely right. It's just that whole comparison, the fakeness, it just brings you down. It's just like, it's horrendous. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think the internet in itself is, it's probably the greatest invention ever created, other than medicine and stuff like that. But like, it's just like when you think about it, it's incredible. It connects the entire world. But I think there's moderation, just like with everything, I think it's good to have on a computer, but I don't know if you need it constantly in your hand.
No, I don't
constantly,
think so.
like, a little buzz and you check it and stuff like that, and it's just like, oh, well, there it is, and then you're scrolling for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But it's the dopamine addiction that we've all developed. We're all addicted to dopamine, which is just absolutely, catastrophic. Sorry, is what I wanted to say, because there is no long-term gratification anymore. It is all very, very immediate gratification. So when you're scrolling on social media, you're getting heaps of dopamine basically pumped into you. So, swiping every swipe, you watch this video, you get a little bit of dopamine. That's what keeps you on the apps. And this is why no one wants to work anymore or work hard for anything, because whereas back in the day, maybe you'd go for a workout that would take 30, 40 minutes, you get that dopamine hit afterwards. It was great, but now it's taking 30, 40 minutes to get that dopamine hit when I can just pick up my phone and get it instantly. And this is the thing, we're all addicted to dopamine, and that's what you've got to fix. We've got to fix our broken minds, because it's just awful. I've got friends that can't watch films anymore, 2-3 hour long films, because their attention span is so short that they can't even sit through episodes of shows, 20-minute episodes of shows. They can't sit through them because the video has to be a minute long. Otherwise they get bored and they have to watch something else. It's just like that. It's awful, really, because you wonder, what it's going to be like the next generation after mine. Because like you said, hopefully we'll be the ones to fix it. But I think there's more people that are just quite as happy to stay in the matrix as, there's more of them than, the ones that want to get out and wake up, wake up, Neo. There's not many of us, at all, because it's so much easier to stay and eat steak in the matrix, and just stay plugged in.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I mean,
have you never seen The Matrix?
I've seen The Matrix, and I know that guy with a long coat, that he was Neo, wasn't he? Yeah, it was all about you going to another world.
What I'm saying is it's easier to stay plugged in than it is to unplug. It's easier to get that constant dopamine drip than actually work for it.
Right. But here's what I want to say to you, though.
Yeah, go for it.
And I'm sure I'm not the first person to say this to you. And again, just playing devil's advocate a little bit. Your business requires that people come online and get dopamine hits, because you are the dopamine hit that people are getting. So how do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I always try and say, like after I've streamed and stuff like that, I'm like, go outside and stuff like that, go and connect to the real world or whatever. But also, to be honest with you, now it's like I'm starting to, think, I'm starting to think maybe I make long form content again, because at least that's like, rewarding for people. Or rewarding for me, I should say, because like these little short form contents, they're great, but yeah, they're very, very addictive, and they're also not great for business anymore, because there's so much of it. It's just like people swipe past it, they don't really care, they'll watch it, and it's just like then they'll forget about it. But these long form videos, I think, have a lot more impact on people. And I think it's better to start, weaning my audience onto long form content as a whole, and just get away from this instant, gratification, short form content. But yeah, no, I can't say that I don't feel guilty at all.
No, not
it's
guilty.
Just like,
you're an entertainer. No,
I'm not. Yeah, and I'm just saying, you can't help but think, well, here I am, saying, oh, we should all get off it, but I'm making money off of it. But I guess that's just like anything, though. It's just like
it's like working in a sweet shop, isn't it?
Yeah,
and then just saying to your kids, don't
Yeah.
eat sugar because it's rotting your teeth. It's no.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
or
wanted
working
to
at a
ask you
gym
that.
and then seeing people only come in once a week and being like, well, we're just taking your money off you, not doing anything. So it's just like anything,
But that's interesting what you should say about the long form content.
Yeah, I mean, I say, but this is also what I mean. It's just like, this is going to sound pretty bad, but I can see that there's not many people that, like I just said to you, want to be unplugged. So why not just make these videos and for them anyway, because someone else is going to if I don't. So, if I could have it my way, it'd be like, just get rid of it all and just, go back to the old days and stuff like that. Or maybe not actually, maybe just go back to long form content. I think it's the short content that's the most devastating.
I do too. For
the attention span. So, because there's no harm in sitting down and watching a 15-minute vlog. It's like just watching a TV show, But you can't sit down and watch heaps of these long form contents for like 3 or 4 hours without, being like, oh, okay, I'm a bit sick of this now. But it's the short content because you're consuming it so quickly. You don't think you're consuming that much of it until you like look at it. It's like, oh, it's been 3 or 4 hours now and I've been sitting here. But yeah, I suppose in response to your question, it's just like, yes, okay, yeah, I know. I recognize that, I am making money off of the thing that I'm saying is so bad. But so if I don't do it, then someone else is going to do it. And there's always going to be people that are plugged in because, they don't want to be unplugged is exactly what I was saying. Yeah. Before it's easier to stay plugged in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it was just an observation because I feel exactly the same. It's that whole thing of I go on and on and on about, get off of social media, get off this, get off that. And there I am putting a video on YouTube every week and hoping to God that people will watch it, and please watch it and please comment. And then it's just, yeah. And I like what you say is there is a need for it. And you're filling that gap. There is a need for it, yeah. But
like I say, I always try and say after my streams, go outside and stuff like that, drink water, And I was even going to start a section on my stream. Was like, do some push-ups with me.
Yeah. Do you know what, Sonny? I've told you this umpteen times, and I just think, and I know it's not what you're doing at the moment and everything like that, but I just think you would be it would be brilliant for you to start something that just helped young guys, like just that guidance of just. I don't know. You're a very good listener.
I mean, maybe one day. Yeah, I don't feel qualified enough to do it yet because I'm still a young guy. So.
But you are a young guy. You're doing it.
Yeah, I know. But I feel like if you're a professor teaching students, you aren't a student still, and that's how I kind of see it. It's just like I'm still a young guy. I'm still learning, so I don't feel qualified to tell other guys how to.
Yeah, but like 16, 17-year-old guys, I'm talking. I'm not. Just someone who's coming up behind you. Who are trying to navigate life and navigating this whole thing. And then you've already walked it. You've already done it. You're just one step ahead. That's all. That's what I think.
I mean, maybe one day, yeah. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Not right now, but maybe one day. Not because, I can't be bothered to, but just because, I just can't get over this. I don't feel qualified enough yet to give that information because it's a massive thing to give someone advice, is massive. You have to know what you're talking about. Otherwise, it's going to be on your conscience. It's like I gave them the wrong advice, and that's not what you want. You want to be able to give them good advice. And I just feel like right now, I just not quite there yet.
What would you do, right? If someone came to you and said, say a 17-year-old lad or girl came to you and said, I'll pay you, I don't know, $500 or $1,000 a week. And I've got let's just pretend they had loads of money, right? Their parents were really rich and they had loads and loads of money, right? And they wanted to pay you to know how to start on TikTok and make content on TikTok. And
but that's a bit different. That's not helping young people. That's just helping anyone. It would be regardless of their age, whether or not, that kind of thing.
Yeah, all right then. Well, let's just say that they suffer massively from, I can't get off social media and I've got real problem. I'm always looking for that dopamine hit, and I'm young and I'm 17 and I just need some help and guidance. Would you take the money?
No, not right now. No, I wouldn't, because I don't feel, and that's even worse. It's like if I don't feel qualified to give someone advice, like young people advice now, I can give my opinion on it, and that's what I've been saying through this whole podcast. It's just like you may think differently, and that's okay. I'm not giving you advice. I'm just telling you how I feel. And yeah, that's because at the moment I just don't feel qualified. And taking money off someone for that, no, definitely not. Not yet. Not yet, anyway. I'm not saying that people that take advice, take money off people and then give them good advice is bad. I'm saying I'm not scared, but I'm just not comfortable giving that advice out yet. I just feel like I have a little bit more to learn before I start doing that. and then taking money off them is a whole nother step. So no, definitely not yet.
Let's just play it. I like this game. Sorry, that was great. Now I've got you back, Bun, because I can just play these games. Let's just play this game, right? So say the same person, right?
Yeah.
Same person. He's just getting so angry with you now. He's just really annoyed because he's got this $1,000 a week.
Yeah.
And he just wants to spend it. I mean, his dad said, the minute you spend it, I'll give you more.
Right.
So he just wants to spend this $1,000, right?
Yeah.
And he comes to you and he goes, okay, Sonny, right, okay, oh, fine. You're not qualified to show me how to do TikTok.
Yeah.
What are you qualified to show me? What would your answer be?
What am I qualified to show him? I can teach you how to play music. How about that? I can teach you how to play the piano, which is what I do now. But that's because I'm confident with that, because I can play the piano, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, you get to a point where you imagine all of a sudden, like, I've got nothing left to learn, so I'm ready to teach. I'm just saying it's like, you have to be confident in the thing of teaching. But people are always learning, and everyone, even the best people, are still going to have more to learn. So I'm not saying, you're going to reach this magic state where all of a sudden you've enlightened and you just know everything about everything there is to know about that one subject. But I think you just get to a point where, like with music, I just got to a point where I was like, okay, I feel confident enough to teach this now because I know what I'm talking about. If someone does something, I'm like, no, that's not wrong. That's wrong. And also music is quite black and white as well. So it's a bit of a hard comparison because, every situation is unique if you were giving advice to somebody. With music, it's like, that's C on the piano. That's not changing. That's always been C and it always will be C. That is E. It'll always be E. So it's very black and white. So I suppose, yeah. And my answer to that question would be yes. I would, choose music if I was going to, what am I qualified in to teach them? Maybe music, yeah. Or maybe like editing as well. Yeah, something like that.
Editing.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's just an interesting observation because someone from an outsider's point of view, and I hope that if you're listening to this and you see these people that are just got all these hundreds of thousands of followers, because from an outsider's point of view, me included, and I'm your mum, would look at the person who's got all these followers and does all this stuff online and think, oh my God, you know your stuff. And you do, Sonny, I know you do. But yet you're still saying, I'm not qualified enough to teach the 17 or take the 17-year-old through these. You've got 750,000 followers. How much qualified do you need to be? It's just like, I don't know. It's interesting why you feel like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the way it is at the moment, It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's just how I feel. And I don't think it's a bad thing because it's like, at least it shows, that you want to be confident in what you're telling, you're teaching, and you're not in it just for the money, It's just like, I would hate that. I would absolutely hate that. If someone was giving me $1,000 a week and I was telling them things that I weren't 100% confident in, I'd feel terrible. I'd be like, I'm stealing from them, I'd hate it. So yeah. No. I mean, again, it just depends what you're asking. It's just, yeah. Like I'll give my friends advice sometimes, but I'll always say, just, figure it out on your own as well. But yeah, it really depends what it is. Like, yeah. So yeah.
Are you happy?
Yeah. Yeah.
You are?
Yeah. Not unhappy. Yeah. Oh, I'm happy. Yeah. Yeah. There's really not much else to say about that. Yeah.
Do a little dance then.
Yeah, I know. I'm ecstatic. Yeah, no, I'm happy. Yeah. Yep.
What would make you happier right now?
Ooh, what would make me happier? A little bit more tea, probably. I'm running a little bit low.
There you go.
There we go. I used to do my little dance now. What would make me happier? I don't know. I think that's like in terms of what though? In terms of like happy, like happy about like money. Like, oh, I've got more money, so then I'll be more happy about that. Or I don't know.
It's the big thing at the moment.
Friends.
Isn't it?
It's like, I don't know. It's just like this happy thing is a little bit like, I don't know. I just look at it. I'm like, is that what life's about? Is being happy? I don't know. For me, I don't think it is anyway, because it's just like.
Well, I think it is.
Well, you think life is only about being happy?
Well, I think it's important to be happy.
I think it's unrealistic, if I was going to be honest with you, that you're going to be happy every single day. I think it's just an emotion, I I think you can like, you know, enjoy where you are, but I think the expectation that you have to be happy 24/7 is just like, I think it's unrealistic, you know? And that's the thing is like, you hear a lot of people go, I want to live happily ever after. So there's no such thing as that though. You know, today I might be happy, but tomorrow I might be, you know, sad, but that doesn't mean my life is going terribly. Because I could, you know, you say, oh, what would make you more happy? I could get a Lamborghini and, you know, be absolutely jacked to the nines and get a house and, you know, a hot Russian model girlfriend or a couple of them.
She have to be Russian?
I don't know. It's just this is what people say, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, a couple of girlfriends there, you know, and I'd be like, oh, will that make me happier? But then I'm going to have days where I'm sad as well then. So I think, you know, I just don't think happy is a good metric to judge success or the way your life is going. Because, you know, it's just so, it fluctuates so much. That's just me anyway, you know. When you say what will make you happier, I'm happy now, you know. Tomorrow I might not be. But, you know, I don't think, I just think that's unrealistic to think, you know, that you can be happier because you're still going to have days where you feel down. So, yeah.
But the thing is at the moment, and this goes back to the whole social media stuff as well, and just this dopamine and the comparison, and because the thing that I see happening, like only like not that I see loads of stuff happening, but I'm just in my circle of things. It's all about the happiness code, you know, how to be happy, you know. I want more happiness. And actually, it's funny you should just say what you just said, because a friend of mine, Nicole, who's got a podcast, you know, she said something along the lines of exactly what you just said. Is like, for a start, you can't feel happiness without first feeling like down, feeling sadness, because it's, you know, it's unrealistic to have that constant line of happiness. You know,
ridiculous.
It's just, so but I'm scared that you are unhappy. As a mum, I'm scared when I see like people being unhappy, especially my kids. It's just like, I don't like to see like you unhappy.
Well, no one likes to see it, you know?
No.
At all, but it's just, I think you just have to accept that, yes, you're going to have days where you're unhappy, you know, but everyone is going to, you know, it's just I don't know if there's ever been anyone that, I think I'd actually rather hate it, you know, if I was in this constant state of just ecstasy and happiness, because then I don't think my life would feel real. And I feel like there would be no challenge, because I feel like one of the biggest challenges is, you know, when you're feeling down, is getting yourself up and out of that, you know. It's for me anyway. But yeah, if you were constantly in a state of happiness, there would be no such thing as happiness. It would just be just nothing, because that's just how you feel. Like your friend Nicole says, you know, there has to be an equal opposite, you know. Otherwise, there's nothing to gauge it off. There's nothing to compare it to, you know. And I think it's good to feel sad, you know. It's good to feel, because then you're human, you know. And you're never going to live happily ever after. It's just, you know, you have to get that out of your head, because there's always, like I said, there's always going to be days when you feel down. But yeah, I can understand that it will make you feel sad. You know, it makes you feel sad when anyone's sad, you know, and unhappy. And it's like, oh, just cheer up. It's okay. But yeah, I've stopped kind of doing that with my friends and family and stuff like that. If I see someone's unhappy, it's just like, it's okay. Just let them feel it. Let them get through it. And they'll come around again. You know, it's okay. Not obviously not being like, oh, you know, they're sitting there crying their eyes out, you know, being like, oh, I just want to, you know, end it all, and I'm not going to be like, you'll get over it, mate. It's just like, you're going to help them then, you know. But I'm just talking about, like, you know, just like, you know, when you just, I don't feel happy today. But then there's a difference between that and then being like, I am just utterly just like in the dumps, ready to end it all. I don't want to be here anymore. That's when, you know, that's a bit different. You're going to help someone when they're like that, you know, pick them up off their feet. You're going to go and get them help and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, you know, if I know them and I know they're a cheerful person and I see them a little bit sad, I'm just going to be like, okay, something's going on, you know. And then the next day they're okay again. It's just like, you know, it's like, rather than going up to me like, oh, it's okay, it's fine, you know, cheer. Because sometimes I hate that sometimes, you know, when people come up to me like, oh, just cheer up. It's just like, oh, just let me be me. Let me do my thing, you know, let me get through it. So yeah, but I can understand you as a mother. I mean, I don't know, I'm not a mother, but you know, I can see from your point of view where, you know, you'd be like, oh.
No, you've just hit the nail on the head there, because it is important to just remember that like when you just said, just let me get through it, just let me do what I'm doing. Like, it is, there's nothing more frustrating than when you're, someone just, when you're crying or you're a little bit upset and then someone's like, come on, look at this happy picture here. Look, remember when we did that together? Look, I don't know what they're trying to do, but it's just like, it's almost like, it's like robbing you of your
Well, this is
emotion.
where it comes. It's unrealistic to be constantly happy, because you need to feel sad to feel happy, and vice versa. You need to feel happy to feel sad. And I'm sure we'd all love to, I don't know, live in a world where, actually, I don't know if we would, because again, I've said this before, it just sounds horrible. Being constantly in one state of emotion. I think that's what makes us human is our emotions. So being in one state of emotion for so long would be, rather horrible, I think. Yeah, it would be, I'd hate that. Be terrible. Be so boring, Can
I just ask you, because I've got to ask this on air, because I know you texted me the answer, so hopefully you can remember what you said to me. But let's just go back to what you just said earlier about what you should and shouldn't share online and things that, that's none of their business. They don't need to know that about me, that I've just split up with my girlfriend. A question that someone asked me last week when I released a podcast about what it's been like to write the book, Madison, who is a long-term listener of both of us. She started Madison, Madison from South America.
Yep. Lovely accent.
Yeah, it is. She's just beautiful. And she asked the question of like, how does Sonny feel about what your mum has said about him in the book, kind of thing.
I mean, well, I haven't read the book, but you've read me parts of the book and stuff like that. And basically what I said in answer to that, Madison, was just like, I was a kid, and kids, the whole point of being a kid is making, mistakes and acting out and stuff like that. So I think it'd be rather, self-obsessed of me to be like, don't put that online, don't tell, and this is also something else I said. It was just like I just said it before actually, was we live in this world now of fabricated lives online. It's like people fabricate this perfect life, and that's not true because everyone is just human at the end of the day. We're all the same, we all ache and we all hurt. We all look terrible when we wake up in the morning, and stuff like that. We all get angry. We all say things that we wish we hadn't. We all lash out, and act up and be bratty or whatever you want to call it. And especially when we're kids, because we don't know any better, and that's just how you learn, is by making these mistakes. So I said, to my mom when she texted me, I said, I wasn't scared for a minute because if anything, the people that would read the book and see how I was acting as a 16, 17-year-old and then see how I'm acting now, surely that would be a good thing, because then they'd see it and go, he's grown as a person, and that's good. They did a good job of parenting him, So I think actually, it's not a bad thing at all. And it's not something I was ever worried about, again, because it's almost like another person, because that was me as a kid, and everyone's just got to get over this thing of being like, my life is perfect and don't put anything online about me that looks bad, because, it's just like, just get over yourself. No one cares, and that's the thing. It's like the thing we actually crave nowadays is just a little bit of like people being real. And we watch these reality TV shows which are far from real, because we just want something that, we want a bit of drama or whatever. We enjoy a little bit of, when they storm off the reality TV show and being like, he slept with this girl and he kissed her and he said he loved me. And it was just like, it's just, I want a bit of drama, something real, something that's not porcelain and perfect, and like, oh, look at me, covered in makeup, and being like, yeah, this is just me naturally, and so yeah, I said that, and also I said, I trust you never to put anything out there that would damage my, or your reputation going forward, because I just don't think, not that there's anything even in there, but that's what I mean. It just didn't cross my mind that maybe there was something I'd said, like something awful, that you'd be like, okay, let's not put that in there, because, you don't want it to affect them in the future. But, yeah, no, wasn't worried for a second at all about it, because it was just real, and I don't think you should be afraid of that, putting real stuff out there at all. Yeah, so that's my answer, Madison.
Thank you, Sonny.
That's all right.
I mean, like I say, I know I've read little bits of the book to you, but actually you come across being really good in the book. You
okay.
you do. You know,
I have to read a bit then.
Yeah. You were a little bit sullen in New York. You gave me a bit of a hard time. Do you remember that when you were like, I just want to go to Broadway?
No, I don't. So there you go. And that's what I mean. This is why I wasn't scared of it, because it's just like, I don't even remember it. So, no, I don't remember. All I remember about New York was it was very cold, and Times Square was really cool.
Do you remember eating the duck in Chinatown?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
The duck. Was there something going on there?
Yeah, that's what the chapter is about, is just eating us. Anyway, just moving on. So it's just, again, it comes down to that thing of keeping it real, doesn't it? You know, just this, just keeping it real. I think it's important, and I appreciate you for saying that, because I know that when you and you do get a mention and at the back of the book for this, because when I got upset because the editor or someone had said to me, you know, it's too much, or you've done it wrong, you know, like that, you shouldn't say that, it's not right. And I got upset and came to you, and you were like, you're writing for your audience, don't forget that. And I say at the back of the book, thank you, Sonny, for reminding me that I'm writing for my audience.
Yeah, well, you are. And I say that because it's just like, you know, your audience is going to be people like you, because you attract people that think like you. You know, I don't think I've ever met anyone that's had an audience that don't agree with them or like share their values or whatever. You know, I think it'd be rather silly. It's like, I'll read this person's book, but I absolutely hate them. I disagree with everything they say. You know, it's just like, so I knew that the people you were writing for were like you, and the people like you don't want that, you know, that perfect Kardashian, oh, look at me, you know, my life is perfect, you know, oh, I bet you wish you were like me. You know, it's actually quite the opposite. It's just like, oh, you'd hate to be me because we did this and it was awful, you know, and it's just real. So yeah, as soon as you said that, I was like, okay, you know, you just need to change this mindset, because it's, you know, it's not true. And you need to, like I say, just remember who you're writing for, because the person who actually told you that is not your audience.
No.
You know, and that, yeah, you're always going to have people like that, you know, with anything, you know, there's going to be people that don't like comedians and stuff like that, you know, and people that hate the realist stuff because it's too real. They don't like it. It's just like, oh, it's like, I don't want to know about it, you know. I want to watch this perfect thing, you know, this politically correct, perfectly in line show. I want to watch that instead of, you know, feeling this emotion that I'm feeling when I'm reading your book, you know, or whatever. Because yeah, it's just easier to watch the perfect thing.
So before I let you go, at the moment, you are in a show called
Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of Horrors, and just tell me the role that you play.
So there's a couple of roles. So mainly the dentist, Oren Scrivelio, DDS, but then also like a little ensemble roles as well, because that's the joke. It's just like, you know, it's just the same guy keeps playing all these roles that keep coming in and out. You know, it's just like this customer walks into the shop and then there's this other customer and another customer, and it's all the same guy, you know, but it's all this different character every single time. And that's the kind of joke. It's just like, oh, there he is again, but he's playing someone different. And then he plays the big role of the dentist, and then he dies. And then it immediately comes back as someone else, you know. It's just like, and that's so yeah, it's fun. Yeah, that's the role I'm playing at the moment.
Because I just want to just go back to what you were just saying a minute ago about how finding your audience. So the role that you're playing as this dentist is a wife, you know, he's a, what's it called when you not say
he's
this?
just abusive.
Abusive, that's the word I was looking for.
He's a physically abusive boyfriend. I mean, he's not even that. He's just completely insane. He's sadistic, everything, you know. It's just like he gets off on, his whole character is he gets off on inflicting pain. So that's why he became a dentist. Haha, you know, like, because, you know, they inflict pain on people, taking their teeth out and stuff. And that's why he became a dentist, because his mother told him he needed to put his abusive energy into something. But obviously he's just an absolute creep, and he's just insane. And he abuses his girlfriend, who is Audrey, who's the main love interest in the show, to the other character, Seymour, who is the leading guy. And he gets what coming to him, you know, he gets chopped up and fed to a plant. So, you know.
But the whole point is this role is just, and we came to see you, and you just, I mean, the whole cast is amazing, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
But you are absolutely fantastic in this role. You play it. It's very, very comedic in a very dark way. Kind of reminded me of my kind of humor, like that dark sort of humor. It's not funny to everyone. So there was a couple of people in the audience that night that when we came to see you, it's funny. It's absolutely, to me, it's hilarious. But there was some people in the audience that obviously didn't find it funny because for reasons maybe, I don't know why they didn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, of course they didn't, because comedy is subjective, you know. And the thing, I mean, this is what a lot of comedians are saying now. It's just like you have to realize that it is just comedy. You know, the person on stage being the comedic role doesn't believe what they're saying, you know, or believe what they're doing. It's just that's funny. And, you know, and the funny part, don't get me wrong, the funny part is not the fact that he's abusive at all. That's the most serious part of the show, because that's when it's like, you know, oh gosh, like he's actually horrible. But the funny part is, you know, he's, you know, swearing and, you know, and laughing manically and stuff like that, and ripping people's teeth out. That's the funny part.
Yeah.
But yeah, comedy's subjective, you know, and this is the thing, is just you can't really hold on to it and sit there and go, oh, why didn't they laugh at it? They shouldn't have come if they didn't, you know, just like, it's just subjective. Okay, you didn't enjoy it, that's fine. Don't come again, you know?
So you've kind of just answered my question, because what I was going to ask you was, how do you, as someone who does, you know, like writes comedy and put it out there and people don't like it, how do you, as an actor, go onto a stage, give it everything you've got, and not get the laugh back from the audience? I mean, lots of people were laughing, but you must have, like, you know when people,
you can
hear people. How do you then? Well, But you've kind of just answered it, because you tell yourself.
Yeah. You just got to take it. Don't take it personally, is what I was trying to say. Don't take it personally, because it's subjective. You're not going to make them eat. I think the last thing would be like trying to make them like it. That would be horrible. It's just like, this is the joke. This is how it was written. I didn't write this script, you know. This is someone else wrote this script. I'm just performing it, you know. If you don't like it, I don't care, you know. It's fine. Other people find it funny, and other people won't find it funny. Even if it's a 50-50 split right down the middle, you know. It's just like, you can't hang on to it, because the last thing you want to do is try and pander to people that aren't enjoying the performance, because then it just takes away from the people that are, you know. So, yeah.
And that kind of sums up everything in just the whole online-y kind of space, doesn't it? Like, you know, it's just like, that's what you've always told me. I remember like 2 years ago when I did a video and it did really badly, and you were like, just make another one and just move on. Like, and then earlier you just said, people don't care. And I don't want people to get confused when you say people don't care, as in people don't care. What you think people care about and what they're sitting there, you know, like when you do something, you're like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Oh God, I can't believe I should have said that. Now they're all going to hate me and they're all going to be saying that about me and they won't like me. People don't care. They just move on, and they just got their own things going on, haven't they? Like, you know, it's just,
for sure.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but it's just, I kind of get this feeling.
What you're saying is, don't get hung up on this thing of like, oh, people, you know, hate me or whatever. They, you know, they don't, you know, they're going to sit there and be thinking, oh, this was a rubbish video. You know, it's just like, they don't, that's it. They just don't care. They don't care. They've all got their own lives to live, you know. And there's always someone else they're going to go and watch afterwards and then completely forget about it. So, and
if you can bring joy and happiness and laughter
just to one person.
into one person, that's what I think. Yeah, it's like you've done your job, haven't you? It's just Well, Sonny, thank you so much for coming on. And I'm not going to leave it 2 years next time, because I absolutely flipping love just sitting opposite you and talking. Isn't it weird when you sit and do a podcast with someone? Yeah. It's just, I know you were talking about doing a podcast with your cousin, Joe.
Yes.
And he lives in England, you live in New Zealand. And I can't remember what you said you were going to do, but you were going to do something.
Something.
Yeah. I think you would be a fantastic podcaster, because you've got a lovely voice, and of course I love you more than anything in the world. But yeah, I just think you would be brilliant at it. So don't leave it so long next time, okay?
All right, okay.
Anything else?
It's your podcast. You have to come and get me. You know?
I do, but really, it's our podcast, isn't it? Because we started it together. I'm never going to let that drop,
I know, but
Sonny.
I can't take it away from Dad though, because he's the one that's put so much work in. So.
I know.
Yeah,
it's
his podcast. Yeah.
Okay, well
I'm just a guest now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to be a special guest? Can we call you special guest?
Yeah, sure.
Celebrity guest?
Celebrity guest.
Yes.
Yep. Of course.
Okay, Sonny. Well, thank you so much for joining me and love talking to you. And I love you so much.
All right, I love you too. Thank you for listening.
Okay, and I'll speak to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for joining us today on this episode. We have loved having you here. If you haven't yet bought a copy of my brand new book, The Travel Bog Diaries, then I would love you to go and grab yourself a copy. If you are a traveller, if you are a parent, if you are an aunt or an uncle, or someone who just loves a really good laugh, then you will love the stories that are within my book. It's all about traveling the world as a family with very little money, far too many hormones, and very, very little patience. It's honest, it's real, and it's such a good laugh. You will absolutely love it. You can grab a copy of that book right now by going to www.thetravelbogdiaries.com. Go over to there. The page tells you where you can buy it from all over the world. I really, really appreciate you for doing that. You will love the book. And if you have already bought the Travel Bog Diaries, thank you. I appreciate you. Bri appreciates you. And if you have got time, if you've got a spare 5 minutes and would like to leave me a review, that would mean the world to me. You can do that by going to www.thetravelbogdiaries.com/review. Just hop on there. It literally takes a few minutes, but it means the world to me. So thank you so much. Me and Bri love you. You're fabulous. Have a brilliant week, and I'll speak to you soon.